All right, so welcome everyone. This is the African American Leadership Series. I am Mercedes Diane Griffin Forbes. I am the founder of the Mercedes Potter Foundation, and I am the CEO of Diane Griffin Enterprises. The purpose of this series is really to showcase the work of community leaders that are doing great things, uplift each other, and uplift all of us in our own communities. I think oftentimes we forget how much power we have amongst ourselves, and it's very important to remember that. Tonight we have Victor Ferguson, who is the CEO of Optimal Wellness. He is leading the charge to create a healthier, happier, more fully functional society. And I think that that is a beautiful thing. So welcome, Victor.
Thank you for the welcome. Thank you.
So tell us all about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, my name is Victor Ferguson. I'm actually from Augusta, Georgia. I was educated at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, after going to predominantly white, high school, middle school, elementary school, or whatnot. But that definitely, saying this to say, it helped to create the person that I am today, because I really, was able to appreciate Black culture and Black intelligence, and also to be able to be be genuinely Black in intellectual spaces. That's something that meant a lot to me, and it's going to come full circle as I continue to talk about why I actually came up with the design I did for Optimal Wellness Community. So I started Optimal Wellness Community about 2 years ago, in order to be able to educate people initially about different elements of wellness. Actually, I was working with a juice spot in DC that had a variety of products. And my thing was, a lot of times you can have these products and people not know what the benefit is for them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why don't we start educating people on these different products? And then as we educate people, we have an ending product for which they could buy. So anyway, things didn't work out with the juice bar, and I continue to grow and develop, the essence of Optimal Wellness Community. So in that growth and development, I came up with what's called the 8 pillars of wellness. That includes mental, emotional, nutritional, spiritual, physical, occupational, social, and economical. Right? And we've been having different meetings called restorative health sessions around these to be able to grow people's decision-making around these. So I have a background in occupational therapy. I've been trained in occupational therapy. I'm also studying for a certificate in neuro-linguistic programming and also in emotional intelligence. So I commandeer these programs and also train people to be able to run their own programs and communities as well. So
wonderful. So you basically started on this path as an entrepreneur. You were trying to add value to your place of employment, and then you turned that into creating something completely brand new. I think that's a very interesting path. A lot of people don't start out like that. A lot of people start, these ventures just on their own. Tell us a little bit about that process of first, you said it didn't work out, but what were some of the challenges, and how did you move from being an entrepreneur to being an entrepreneur?
Oh, well, the thing was, I was a business partner of the gentleman in DC. However, he said something to me that made me realize more so what my passion was, because pissed me off. Legit.
Okay.
Like he told me, so I'm talking about, I was talking to him, I was like, I really want to be able to educate the community, because that just means a lot to me, for people to understand different elements of wellness and to be able to get better, and us to be able to offer these juices to them, in different products. And he's like, the community? It's like, man, you don't need to worry about the community. You need to just worry about this money. It's all about this money. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Who do you think is going to patronize you but the community? Like, people don't normally buy products just because of the lower price or even the quality. They buy it because of the connection of the person that's selling it, you know? So he experienced a little bit of success while he was like one of the only Black people at Union Market.
Oh.
And I think a lot of it was just because of the connection of him being Black, you know? So you know, he was creating community around him being Black, but then not appreciating that community was forming because of who he was, you know, or the essence of community in general. And that just, you know, that kind of diverted me. I made a strong split for our diversion, you know, with that. And I realized just how much community meant to me.
Wow. That's really interesting because that particular space, Union Market, you know, when I first moved to the Washington, D.C. area in 2005, that whole area was a completely different space than it is now. You know, that was the market where you went, you got your meat from the butcher, you got your produce from the farmers, and you got your imported goods from the people who were bringing them fresh off the boat. It was dirty, it was smelly, it was grimy, but it was like, I don't know, like real, like authentic, like it felt like home. Now it's, you know, highly gentrified, it's very posh, and nothing's wrong with that. I mean, we all like nice things, nice places. It's such a stark contrast to what it was, and it is very white. It is a very white space and a very high-priced space. So to know that, you know, you had someone there who, you know, represented the Washingtonian, the real DC, and they didn't even like acknowledge that as like part of their practice. That's, to me, that's just like really shocking and overwhelming. Like, I don't even understand.
It is, yet I feel like there is a rampancy of, I guess, assimilation when it comes to a certain mindset. And I think that mindset has, it's a lot more just financially oriented and individualistic. And that's not of how our original essence is. You know, we are used to existing together and being in harmony with abundance. And that's how we normally operate. So it's funny, in spaces that were once Black, being taken over, and then having the Black people in that space act like the oppressors, you know, or the colonizers. You know, so I think it's important to be able to maintain your indigenous mindset, even if you have to purposely seek out communities that operate with that.
It is very difficult to not feel the pressure of assimilation in the United States. You did mention in your introduction how it was important to you to be authentically Black. Tell us a little bit about what does that mean to you? Like, what is Blackness to you? How do you define it? And then how do you embrace being authentically Black?
Okay, so what is Black to me? That's a really good question. I believe Black is more of a cultural, it's more of a culture that is led by essence as opposed to cold hard logic, and one also that is more focused on community. And this may sound a little bit weird, but I do think, and I said, you know, it was kind of led by essence. So I do think it's kind of a little bit more of a feminine essence as far as feminine energy. I think it's more of that. Like, it's a lot more creative. It's a lot more intuitive. It's soulful. It's rhythm. You know, it's one of dancing. It's one of expressions. It's one of a full range of emotion. It's one of freedom. I believe that being Black includes like being free to express yourself. You know, like how else we, you know, in the 90s, remember Cross Colors? You know, we were wearing orange pants. Like,
I remember them very well.
You know, we were wearing our clothes backwards. Like, we're just like, we're gonna do this now, and we do it, and it, you know, and everybody else just sees the confidence what we do it. So it's also emboldened of confidence as well. And I think as warriors in our culture, and it's it's queens, and it's just the whole spectrum. Of course, not everybody's a queen or a king, but we definitely have royalty to the nth degree. I mean, where people can go in spaces and white people are like,
You definitely bring the passion, that's for sure.
You got it. Yeah. And it's funny because, and me being, ethnic with my locks and everything, and just, I don't always have my hair super tightened up, but, I'm still speaking the King's English, and I'm making clear, logical statements. How much respect I get from white people. It's almost like they have this feeling like, oh man, you know yourself. Good. You know yourself, you're comfortable with yourself. It's not like, oh, you know us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a moment to, Miss Tanya has a burning question, and even though the Q&A is supposed to be at the end, she really wants to get it out. So I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Sister ask her question.
What's up, Sister Tanya?
What's up? How y'all doing? I'm gonna make it real quick. I have a union meeting at 6:30, but I did want to come and pop on to stay with you guys until I had to. But I thank you, Victor. This is amazing. And but I like what you said when you were talking about the market that had everybody there, and then it changed and it got white. And then you said, like, how can we, who are we, like, financially? And I was remembering when I saw, I'm come from Brooklyn, New York. So I live in Georgia, but before I left, they had a lot that had all kind of Black vendors there, and then they were moving out. So I said, what happened? And they said the Jewish people bought the lot for $1, and they said to move out. So I was thinking to myself, I said to the lady, how long you guys been here selling all your things? She said 20 years. So I said, well, you've been here 20 years, all of you, and you let the Jewish people come and buy it $1 and throw you off? So I see this kind of thing all the time with us economically. And so I just wanted to ask a question that was in that direction as, okay, we get on these things, we talk about that. How can we eradicate that? Because I'm tired of talking about it.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Now that's a great question. And I don't know if you remember all the pillars that I was talking about when I was going through my wellness pillars, but one of those is economics. And I really think that that's something that one can cause an imbalance in our levels of wellness, because it's like we're held up by these pillars. I call them the 8 pillars of wellness, because it's like if one pillar isn't right, it's easy for the weight to kind of like shift to that side and force them to possibly topple down, So economics is one of those. We have to have sound economics where it comes to spaces where we can create commerce, entrepreneurship, training, more cooperative initiatives, such as like Susus, and just getting used to spending money with one another. So I'm kind of loving this barrage of Susus kind of popping up, and this is like good. Like we should be pulling our money together and trusting each other to spend money with each other, to make money move between us. So I think that's something that I would like to just kind of cultivate in my wellness spaces, is to really push for entrepreneurship, cooperative economics, making sure we're spending money in Black places, and also eventually, kind of putting together all the entrepreneurs of the different wellness communities in the city together to be able to host, flea markets and such like that. But at least we'll have a common denominator avenue to be able to do so. And then we can all move as a collective economic force with this mentality that we enforce time and time again during our sessions.
One of the things that Tanya talked about in her comment and her question was really around the concept of pooling your resources and communities pooling together to make things happen. Like she mentioned, the Jewish community came together and they bought this land for $1. I'm also Hispanic. My mother's from South America, from Colombia, and that is actually very commonplace amongst Latinos. We definitely pool our resources. So even if one person only has 50 cents, we're going to stretch that 50 cents so that each person in the family gets their 5 cents or their 10 cents, depending on how many people. And when it comes to like making larger moves economically, you do see in the Latino community here in the United States that people still pool their resources. A lot of businesses are funded by multiple family members and multiple community members. And, you know, I do often ask myself, you know, as well, why don't African Americans do that? And I think it goes back to our history and to slavery and to the disconnect that, you know, was really systemically done to us to make us not have that type of trust in one another, to not have that type of, you know, faith in one another. When you know, for generations are taught that one of you could be snatched up at any moment, you know, it's kind of hard to trust in each other. And every time you have, you know, ventures, there's always systemic, you know, things that come into play to force them to fail. You know, you have redlining with banks, you have housing ordinances that keep people from being able to purchase land. So there's a lot of reasons I think that, you know, we really don't have that type of faith and community to pool our resources, and that's something that we have to work to unravel. And I think, you know, being cognizant of the fact that other communities do this and it works very well is a start. And then again, you know, having a conversation like what we're having now about why it's important to pool our resources so that we can overcome some of these obstacles. Because having people come and buy up your block for $1 makes no sense. It really doesn't. But, you know, we're not paying attention and we're not organized, then that's what happens to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's important to create a narrative of just benefits and beauty with being able to be in that space, you know? So just like say, I know one of my buddies on here, Darrell, he has a book, right? That he's selling. So my thing was, you know, it's like, come to our space and, you know, you can talk about your book in our space. So if he goes to the space and he's able to sell like 4 books, he's like, man, this is great being able to come into a Black community and be able to receive, you know, patronage. So that creates a whole narrative with him, like, oh, my people are great, like for supporting each other, you know. So just I think just in having it operating in that kind of fashion helps to curtail people's narratives around, you know, community economics and just spinning in Black spaces. So we need to, because I mean, like you said, there's a whole lot of damage that's been done. So we have to recreate different narratives. We have to, you know, we have to explore different solutions, and we have to repair. So.
So now, Victor, I want to talk a little bit about your business. So you operate around wellness. What made you decide to focus really on wellness? Why not, you know, focus on something else? Like, what was the impetus in your life that made wellness such an important topic?
So, you know, it became wellness. It shifted to wellness. Like it started out, you know, like I was saying, it started out with just educating people on products for real. Like, I guess products that could increase your wellness. But then I started to really meditate on it, and I thought about my mom. Like my mom's actually suffered from 4 different heart attacks, right? And it was because of a lot of the pressure that she went to. She went through with dealing with churches, you know, and that kind of led to her not being able to work out, or, you know, and she wasn't eating right because she was just stressed out running around. And that was also some residual mental conditionings from when she was younger as well. So, you know, it was just the fact that there were so many things that came together that led to her dysfunction. You know, and I was like, man, it'd be great to kind of unpack a lot of those and kind of just give clarity to people to create a space of wellness and also of healing. So if they're in these kind of toxic situations, you know, after we examine it and we have a full discussion about it, then it's like, oh, this isn't healthy for me, you know, so I need to make better decisions. And that's more so what I'm into, is making it an experiential kind of learning thing. I'm not just the one to be like, do this, because I am the master of this room and I just know stuff more than no. Everybody has their own experience and everybody has wisdom to give. So that's what this platform is about. So, and that's what, you know, wellness is about. And I think that's just an important part of healing the community. And I mean, we're dying out here. Like people, you know, people have diabetes on the norm by 30s now.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, why, you know, so just in breaking it down and breaking down why that's the case, and kind of just building pods of empowerment and people being informed can lead to just different opportunities being available. For instance, you know, maybe I have 5 of these, each one has 20 people in them in a city, right? All of a sudden somebody opens up a new vegan spot, you know, kind of in the middle of all these groups. You know, now you have 100 people that's going to help market and, you know, empower your business based upon them being trained on a certain, you know, diet and frequency that you want to be on based upon what you're eating. You know, because that's what, you know, we're not talking about things that maybe, you know, they're not far away. It's like, oh no, I lived this, I experienced this, this is why I know this, you know. Or you experience something different, okay, let's compare. Okay, well, that's 2 high levels of logic, you know, so we can, you know, at least you have one or the other, but you have this balance, you know. So anyway, just high-minded thinking people in the wellness space can just lead to so many things being healed and so many things being adapted to.
Right. I think, you know, one of the things that really stood out in, you know, how you describe your program is that you really changed the paradigm, because it does seem, at least to me anyway, it seems that we as Black people have a tendency to romanticize our suffering. And, you know, we put so much of a high value on how we overcome things that we really don't pay enough attention to how we can avoid things. And you talk about, you know, the high levels of diabetes and hypertension, the maternal mortality rate, breast cancer, any health problem, you name it, we got it. And we got it at higher rates. And oftentimes we have it at higher rates because of lifestyle. You know, we live in a society that's extremely stressful for us. Then a lot of us have a very unhealthy diet. We're overworked. We don't have recreation. We don't have a lot of things that would create balance. And I feel like one of the core value that your space brings is that it gives people an opportunity to have a space where they can actually bring wellness into their life in a very purposeful way. And I think that is something that's missing in the Black community, and I think it's something that's very important. Tell us a little bit about how your day-to-day workings go in your group. I know that you have a set formula of how you operate your meetings. So can you give us a little bit of information about that?
Okay, sure. So for just in the evolution of the restorative health sessions, I found out that one, there's nothing that brings Black people together like eating. Don't know if you guys have figured this out.
We need
life,
food.
but you know, these colored people, they love to eat. You know, so you know, bringing people in. I started by bringing people in with a plant-based potluck. You know, so everybody gets to bring a different dish, and one of the barriers that has come up as far as with people being healthy is being able to eat healthy. So, you know, just in having conversations with people, doing a little bit of research like that, qualitative, that's what I'm trying to say, more qualitative research in that manner has led me to believe that it's best to have a diverse set of vegetables, you know, in just different ways that live foods can be prepared to, you know, that in a healthy manner that can keep people more engaged and you know, make people not get bored of trying to walk this healthy path. Because healthy does not mean flavorless. You know, I tell somebody I'm vegan, and they're like, oh, salad every day. And it's like, no, simple. That's not what I eat. I know, it's like, oh no, I can crush these walnuts up and, you know, make a walnut taco, or I can, you know, it's just so many things that I can do in order to walk this line. So with that being said, that's why I got that's how I started off with the plant-based potluck. Everybody gets a chance to talk a little bit and just kind of relax in a space and be around, you know, a space of peers and elders and youth, the whole nine, but everybody's just connecting on a natural kind of vibration. And so then, you know, after 30 minutes of that, then we go into our icebreaker, generally for 15 minutes. So people get comfortable if they weren't comfortable and kind of get out of their shells, get out of their heads and ready to kind of participate, because it's all about experiential learning. Experience is the best teacher. And also from a neurological perspective, if you can connect something that you're taking in with something you've already experienced, you're a lot more likely to remember it, like 75% more likely to remember it, right? So so we go into that space, and we have our discussion. Is some presentation with a lot of questions asked and a lot of discussions had. Most of the time, it's maybe about like 12 slides, you know. So it's not just like information. Most information comes from us. So we have that, and then at the well, after that, then we have the creative expressions. So creative expressions is where people are able to just express things that are express any kind of like artistic talent. So if it's expressive dance, they can do that. Songs. I'm a songwriter and a musician, so I usually bring out my guitar and I'll play something. We'll just kind of express, because I believe a part of wellness includes inspiration and expression. So that's I think that's important, to allow the divine to flow through us, you know. And I think yeah, that's just necessary. And I wanted to kind of share something too, because a lot of the ways I go about operating Optimal Wellness Community is based upon this book right here, The Spirit of Intimacy by Sambumfu Some, right? And I wanted to read something out of it real quick. This is chapter 3, called The Embrace of Community. Community is a spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, whereby people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another. The goal of the community is to make sure that each member of the community is heard and is properly giving the gifts he has brought to the world, he or she has brought to the world. Without this, the community dies, right? And then it comes down, when you don't have community, you are not listened to. You don't have a place you can go and feel that you really belong. And then without the unloading of our gifts, we experience a blockade inside, which affect us spiritually, mentally, and physically in different ways. We are left without a home to go to when we need to be seen. Another thing was, one of the principles of the Dagara concept of relationship is that it's not private. When we talk about our relationship in the village, the word "our" is not limited to two. And this is why I feel it's pretty hard to live a relationship in modern culture that is lacking true community. In the absence of community, two people are forced to say, this relationship is ours, when in fact, a community should be claiming ownership. You know, so anyway, I like to kind of abide by a lot of those principles. And it's funny how effective abiding by those principles are, and how when you see like isolation with different relationships, you can see a space for dysfunction.
Right.
Peace, Darlene. So just to have a space for the wellness of other people's relationships is important as well.
Right.
Without having to go to counseling, and and it's same thing with mental health as well. We can kind of explore around mental health, and it's like, oh, okay, I have those qualities. Like, oh man, maybe I should. We can have somebody that's a therapist there, and on the slide be like, hey, check them out, and it's all right. But yeah, okay. So the other part of so that's how the restorative health sessions go, right? The other part is what's called fitting fitness. Fitting fitness, we engage in different modalities of fitness. Either once a week or every other week, just depends on how the frequency of the group is. So that looks like doing maybe Frisbee one week, maybe mountain climbing the next, or hiking the next, but just different modalities of fitness to get people interested in living a physically active life. So if you find you like something, you keep doing it, and then whatever else we're exploring as a group, we can do that as well. But it's about just keeping physically active, especially if we're in a job where we're in our seat all day and, upright on the computer, so just making sure we stay active. And last but not least, we have wellness around the world retreats. So that looks like different places that we're going to go to as a collective and experience what wellness is like through the eyes of the culture wherever we're going. We have connections in in Colombia and San
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
San Andreas.
San Andreas.
We got connections in Bahamas. We got connections in Jamaica, also Ghana, and the world's shrinking. So we're all about experiencing wellness and kind of propagating how we're creating the space of wellness for ourselves.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So now you have a lot going on in your program. It's very multifaceted. So you're only one person. There's no way you're doing it all by yourself, especially if you're doing it in multiple locations. So Let's talk a little bit about creating partnerships. Oftentimes, and I say this a lot because it's something that's very important to me, we don't realize how important it is to collaborate and build teams in our entrepreneurial ventures. And so, tell us a little bit about what has worked for you, what methods have you used to build teams, how do you, find like-minded people, just a little bit about that struggle and some of the things that have worked and maybe haven't worked as you've gone throughout this process.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Well, I'll tell you what hasn't worked for sure is romantic relationships and partnerships. Definitely not the move. It's not the move. It's not the move. It's not the move. So I definitely think when it comes to partnerships, making sure it's strictly based on, you focusing in on the goal and the purpose, and of course, friends love, but I'm saying it's to become intimate with somebody that I'm in business with. I don't think I'm gonna do that again.
That hasn't worked for you, huh?
That has not worked for me. So I'm gonna stray far away from that. I moved to Baltimore, so I kind of had to start all over when it comes to the partnerships. So I'm interested in, I hadn't, that's something that's still developing. I'm a man that has some answers about what I know about, but that's something I hadn't got that right yet, to be completely honest with you. I'd like to. It's coming, it's I think it's improving, but
okay.
Yeah. I think
so you definitely know what doesn't work.
I know it doesn't work.
Okay. But you're still trying to figure out what does work.
I am, and how to execute, how to properly operate around what does work.
Okay.
And I think that's something that when I'm able to receive some additional funding, I'll be able to not have to grind so hard to have to, you know, work in Uber Eats. I do Forex trading, you know, and you know, I'm a hustler, so I'm not gonna not make money, and I have to survive. But I know this is my purpose, this is my path, and this is what lights my fire. So I'm never gonna, you know, take it off, take my foot off the gas when it comes to this. But yeah, you know, it's evolving. It's evolving, and when I get some more mental space to be able to do that, I'll focus in on doing that, on creating.
Well, what I will say for the audience and those who are watching now and those who watch the recording, because I am a consultant in terms of building teams, you always start with your passion. You know, as Simon Sinek says, who is like the marketing guru that I adore in terms of his marketing theories, it's start with why. You start with why you're doing something and you build out from there. When you're clear and consistent in your message and what it is that your vision is, then people will gravitate to you. And I think sometimes we're not clear about what our vision is. And we try to launch before we've really gone through the process of self-discovery. And then we get into, you know, this hole where we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going. And people are looking at us like, I don't think I want to work with you. So I think, you know, it's very important to be clear and consistent in messaging and in putting yourself out there with a vision of where it is you're trying to go, and aligning yourself with like-minded people, aligning yourself with people who have skills that you don't have, who can fill in the gaps. Because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we like to put ourselves out there as being able to do it all, and that's never a good thing. Even if you have multiple skills, you never want to be doing it all. You don't want to be a one-person show, because then you're not operating from a position of maximizing your strengths. And that's really what you want to be doing. You want to be maximizing your strength. What is unique about you and your vision, what you bring to the table that sets you apart from everybody else. And when it comes to all the other tasks, that's when you have your team. I know what has worked for me and what has worked for people that I coach is that, you know, they go to venues where they can find people who are like-minded. They go to networking events. They are continually learning and learning new classes, and they talk to people at those places. They are taking every opportunity to market their brand, you know, whenever they're out there through social media or in person. And I think, you know, those are just things that we all need to keep in mind as business owners and entrepreneurs, that building a team really starts with us understanding what we want and being consistent in that messaging. And then two, putting ourselves in a position where we're able to absorb those into our circle who can add value to what it is that we're trying to do. I want to open the floor up now for Q&A. I think some people have some questions burning. I see facial expressions that make me think people have some things they want to say based on the conversation that we've had so far. So I am opening up to anyone who would like to start. Just raise your hand, I'll call on you, or we could just talk freestyle. David, I see you. You're muted, let me unmute you. I think you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
David, I still can't hear you. I still
can't hear him either. We're with Zoom. This happens every time you mute and unmute people.
Okay, next.
Okay. Who's talking now?
No, I unmuted myself. I was like, next.
Oh, you funny.
Can hear.
Wanna leave David on the curb? Come back to David.
Yeah, we come back to David.
We'll come back to you, David.
You gotta work the mic out.
So who wants to ask a question?
Okay, go ahead, Darlene. Miss Darlene.
I just want to thank you, Victor, for inviting me, because, you know, I'm Zooming all day anyway, and I felt this was going to be very interesting. It's very informative. Mercedes, I appreciate you. I hear what you're saying. I stepped out on faith. It's wonderful to have coaches also. And Victor is doing amazing things. And sometimes until you find that right team, you have to do what you have to do. Like a business person, you have to know how to balance your own books. You have to know how to do everything that your secretary does. So sometimes we do it the opposite way. So instead of having the whole entire team first, we're knowledgeable of what we're going to be doing, what we want. And like you said, what is your dream? What is your passion? I listen to him. I hear his passion, and I feel his vision. And because he's a visionary, he will give birth to all the dreams that he's talking about.
Yeah, we do have to usually start out doing it all by ourselves. That's very true. The goal is definitely, though, to not end up doing it all by yourself, because you really do want to get to a point where you are able to just maximize what makes you special. And that is a hard part. It's hard to transition, especially when you don't have money, and especially when you don't have a whole lot of connections. You know, those can be real big stumbling blocks to making that transition to having a team.
Absolutely. I appreciate you seeing me, Darlene. That's
self-time. So, you know, and you create the self-time in the middle, no matter what you do. Because I stopped working almost 3 years now, and I do DK Health and Wellness. So I create this time for me every day of what I want to do, you know, for myself, wellness and balance, and eating differently now. And like I listened to Victor, I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat vegetables and fruits every day now, drink plenty of water. And I just tell people I'm eating better. And not that I won't eat no chicken, shrimp, and crab, but it's just that I'm content with what I have in the house, because a lot of us don't realize, like, we're rich for what we have. And sometimes you have to just take what you have and use it before you go out there and keep making other expenses on top of expenses. Because sometimes as Black people, we waste. We have a lot of stuff in the refrigerator, and we go around that and go around that and go back to the store and get something else. And before you know it, we throwing something out. So I've learned now the value of not wasting and appreciating. Just like drinking water every day instead of drinking a soda and drinking a tea. So it's been months since I had sodas and cookies and chips and things like that. And I'm gonna tell you, I feel great.
Isn't that funny? You don't even want those things after a while.
You're
I eat
right.
veggie chips now. I was never eating veggie chips. I was looking at people like, what is these things they eat, and all these straws and all this green and orange stuff? And guess, look who's hooked. Look who's hooked. I'm a cheap date, Victor, so you got to get me a bag of veggie chips.
Nice. Nice. That's a real thing. I appreciate your honesty, and that's why the solution got to be, and like narratives like that need to be shared. You know, like people need to know, like, hey, listen, I started eating healthier, and I stopped drinking so much, you know, sugar water, and you know, just eating crap, and I feel amazing. My skin glows, and my mind's clear now. I don't experience depression. And it's, you know, it's studies that correlate like depression with how you eat. Like what you eat is very important.
All related. Yeah.
It's exactly, everything's interconnected. So I did want to say that the interconnectedness is part of why I do what I do, because there's not a lot of spaces that interconnect different places of wellness. You know, so it's like, okay, just mental health. Okay, okay, it's just, you know, it's just. You know, so I wanted a space where we could examine how everything connects and interacts together.
So I was listening to you, Victor, when you were saying you guys might play Frisbee one day, go hiking and things like that. So what I do with my walks is I take pictures. So I take pictures as I walk, and, you know, little self prayers and praises to myself. And then I post it on Facebook to tell people, like, I took a short walk today, but look at these flowers I walked past. Look at these trees. Look how this is blossoming. So I do that like maybe 3 days a week. I don't do it every single day. But, you know, it's funny how your mood feels. So if I was hiking with you, I'll be videoing. Hey, look, y'all, we hiking here, blah, 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 or either I'll be like, taking pictures every 5 minutes, but that's me, because I want everybody to know I'm excited. Yo, look what I did today. Oh my
That's a good
goodness,
point.
I went hiking.
That's wonderful.
Oh my, I'm taking that. I'm with that. You see my pen? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go hiking when I come back next week. I'm supposed to go hiking for the first time next week.
Oh, nice. Oh, have
No, I'm
fun,
sorry.
have
It's
fun.
I think it's a trail walk. Unless we decide to go hiking. So I know next week when I come back, it'll be a trail walk.
I always go to Patapsco Valley State Park. I'm so addicted. Like every Sunday, just about. It's so amazing. It's
Okay.
like 20 minutes from the city. Yeah. Okay. So, is there anybody else that had any other questions?
David, are you ready? I saw you, Wale.
So can you
Go
hear
ahead,
me
David.
now?
I hear you now, David.
Okay, I was doing some research and I was
What's up?
trying to get some information about my culture, and I have a question for you. Are you any way affiliated with the embassy that's down here on Massachusetts Avenue, the African American Embassy, or the Mayor's Office for African American Affairs on 14th Street? Have you been in connection with them with any of your avenues? Because I was thinking about maybe going down there and seeing what I could do or what I couldn't do.
No, I haven't. I don't know anything about those organizations.
All
Nope.
right. Wale?
All right, how's everybody doing?
All right.
Good, Wale. What's up, brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm blessed. Highly favored. Yeah, so I was listening to your discussion, the topic earlier about kind of like black people in finances. That's my background.
Yes, sir.
And I got my master's in accounting, and I wanted to add something to that because, like, we talk about group economics, and I think that's very key to our black community, very pivotal, that we got to learn how to kind of like get ourselves back into like working together as teams. That's very important because like we're the best resources. Like if we go to banks, they're gonna charge you high interest rates, or it might give you a hard time or deny you. And also, one thing I believe that our community really needs is kind of like invest in startup groups. Startup groups are very key because, like, if we look at a lot of groups across the board, like Hispanics, Jews, white people, they have investors in startup groups, which help buy property, which is key in America, retail, real estate. Also, buy land is very important because all those things like that they invest into appreciate and don't really depreciate. Over time, land appreciates, and we got to learn how to invest in those things. And my question is, because my future goal is to educate the youth, about these things. And I was kind of decided, should I write a book? Because I do want to do like children's story, like literature books, and kind of like teach kids about financial literacy.
Yes.
Do you have any like ideas of how I should like kind of approach that?
So actually, brother on here, Darrell, he wrote a book that's very, very cool on and what he did. Well, Darrell, why don't you speak for yourself, bro? Are you on here still?
Yeah, I'm on here.
Yeah.
You guys hear me clear? Yeah. What's going on, man? How you guys doing?
Good.
Right,
good, brother.
welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, so as Victor was saying, this book, it's called Rap Goals. As you can see, right? So RAP is an acronym that I created. It stands for responsibility, accountability, progression. These are my 3 keys to life. You can use that in any area of life. So no matter what you're going through, when you hold yourself responsible and you hold yourself accountable, you'll progress from there. So as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can really see, but I have a lot of rap artists on the front. So I got like DMX, Jay-Z, Nipsey Hussle, Young Jeezy, all these people, right? So I use quotes from these guys' songs each and every day for 365 days. And by the end of it, you're supposed to become a success. Now, when I say success, that means you being the best you possible. So each day is pulling something different out of you to become a better you. I'm trying to flip it around. So like this right here is an example of the book. So this is day 59, and then like I'll write the quote, and then this right here is your journal. So you're the student and the teacher throughout this whole process. So throughout this whole process, what I want you guys to get from this is you understand that you're going to have to push yourself. And the only way for this thing to work as far as in life is for you to push yourself. So each day is pulling something different out of you, but we're going to use a rap quote for it every day. So yeah, that's me. And then you guys can follow me on Instagram and all that stuff. Just look up Rap Goals, and I do videos every day. So the book is really free if you just look at my videos.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So with that being said, I really like what he did with being able to kind of tap into the hip hop culture in order to be able to have an impact on the youth. So that's why I was like, oh man, he's in action with it right now. So, I mean, even if it comes, I think in cooperative economics, I think about Jay-Z saying, if every ninja in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged.
That's in the book. That's in
Nobody
the
will
book.
fuck with that. Yeah.
That's day one. Listen, that's day 187. That's in the book,
What they know about it?
I got one in there for 22 students. Too much black, too much love equals too much forever.
Too much forever.
Yeah, come on.
That's in the
Hey,
book
the
too,
real
man.
hip,
So, like, I got a lot of stuff in there.
Isn't that dope?
can
That's
relate
dope,
to.
right?
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying on that day, I'm saying, like, we got to come together and don't be scared to come together. And, we got to understand, just like this, like we doing right now, we're coming together and we're understanding like, hey, I bring something different to the table. And it's okay that I bring something different to the table. But now let's expand on that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, the hip hop artists be speaking the truth for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I learned a lot about it.
I was like, I know a little bit in theory, but he's actually doing it. Take it away.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nothing gets me on my hustle quicker than some trap music. So yeah.
Exactly.
I'm from the South, so that's what I'm about.
Yeah, and that's what this really gives me. Like, I learned more from just listening to rap music about life than versus school. Somebody asked how you can get my book.
Right, how can you purchase, man?
Is your link in the chat box?
Exactly. Yes, put your link in the chat box.
Yeah, definitely put your link in the chat box.
Just Rap Goals. Just think Rap Goals.
Rap Goals.
And you'll find me.
All right. I will say from a parenting standpoint in terms of Wale's question, I mean, I have a 16-year-old child and he's a teenpreneur, and he actually started doing his own little business ventures in middle school. And as he got into high school, he moved into like selling collectibles. So he and I go to a lot of comic book conventions. And so like he will look for things that were like, being sold on the last day at discounted rates. And then he would go and he would sell them with his friends at school, or he would sell them on eBay. He just launched a comic book business, and he has been able to take money that he has saved up from all of those different businesses that he did and invest that into his comic book business. And since COVID started, he wasn't able to go out and earn any money. He just did a GoFundMe campaign, and he just raised $2,000. So it's been a progression, but it started with him being young, and it started with him, paying attention to me as an entrepreneur and seeing all the things that I do and conversations that I've had with him about the freedom that comes with being an entrepreneur, and him going out and taking risks and, learning about supply and demand and, customer acquisition and saving and all these things, that are quite nuanced at a young age. But I think, we gotta give our kids freedom. We gotta give our kids freedom to take risks. We gotta give our kids freedom to learn. We gotta be open and communicate with them, because I knew that he wanted to empower himself, and I knew that he was paying attention to what the kids were doing at school. And because we communicate openly, I was able to pull out of him, what it was that he was trying to do, and then channel that energy in a more positive direction. So, it definitely starts with home. It starts with us, really being very cognizant of the tools that we give our kids, like Darnell's book, Darrell's book, and being open in our communication so that they do understand at a young age, how to run a business and how to save money and how to make moves, so that when they get older, they don't have, these same stumbling blocks that a lot of us have had to learn how to tackle, later in life. Anybody else got a question, a comment? Oh, Christina. And if I don't see you, just speak up. Christina, yes.
All right. So first of all, I'd like to thank you all for the session. It's been really great. and it's good seeing new faces and old faces. I have been to the restorative health sessions, Victor's restorative health session, several times, and I can just say that I recommend it for anybody here who hasn't been. I recognize a few of y'all from the sessions, so go ahead and join in sometime if you haven't gotten an opportunity yet. And another thing I'd like to say to Wale and anybody else who's interested in writing is there's a woman in Arlington, Virginia, her name is Robin Sullivan. She gives very good advice about publishing, about writing too, but specifically about publishing. It's the best group that I've seen for sure when it comes to actually publishing books. So I'll put the name of the group into the chat box so everybody, and I'll try to find a link for y'all so you can take advantage of that. Another thing that I wanted to say regarding partnerships is I agree with what everyone has stated. Teamwork and partnerships is essential for all of us, but I would issue a word of caution that forming a business partnership is like forming a marriage. So just be careful, if you're looking to get a business partner, be sure that you know exactly who that person is and that you work well together, because it can go south really quickly.
Oh, yes.
See, and that, I think that's part of my apprehension, is because like my last business venture with the guy in the juice bar went south, and it's like I didn't see Spencer.
My bad. I tried to hold it in. My fault.
Yeah, no, you good. You good.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, he knows though. That's why, what I'm saying? He was actually about to like bring him on at one time. It was crazy. But anyway, it's like I was just I see little flashes and be like, oh, is that what it was? Oh, is that? So it took a second to get a full scope of the picture, because he, was mad shrouding of his true self. But it was what it was. I feel like I definitely grew wiser from it. But
lessons learned.
Yeah, lessons learned, exactly. But just the whole process of trying to muddle through different. I don't want to say muddle, but I guess it's kind of trying to find, a person that has all the qualities that I'm looking for, and assessing that quickly when I'm new to a place is interesting. But it's all good, I'm gonna pray on it, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's really gonna be an energy thing, and I also think this. I think also, just because I've been doing everything myself anyway, just the relationship is gonna be different, because it's like I don't necessarily need you, but you help out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like,
but as you scale.
As you scale up, you definitely will need a team.
For sure.
And the thing is too, like Christina mentioned, having a business partner, you don't necessarily have to have everyone on your team as a business partner. Some people can just be an employee. You need a marketing consultant to get, this thing out there. Hire them for that one thing. You need someone to do some grant writing for you. Get them for that one thing. You don't have to formalize all your partnerships, because like she said, that is a marriage. You're entering into a legal agreement with someone, and if stuff goes south, yeah, she's right. That's not where you want to be. I do think sometimes we tend to get too gung-ho and bring people in more than they need to be in when we do bring them in. But just keep them in their place and for a reason and a season, and keep it moving. We don't necessarily have to get too intimately involved with people. And when you're talking about tapping into people for specific skills that they have, you don't necessarily have to even like that person. And if I need someone that's really good at social media management, they don't have to be my best friend. We don't even have to talk. This is my campaign. This is what I'm doing. I'm sending you my content. These are the deliverables I'm asking for. This is the contract. That's it. And I think, you know, because we are passionate people, sometimes we take our connections a little bit too far. And, you know, in business, it is about balance. You know, some people you want to have as a part of your core inner circle, but some people you just want to have them as an asset to do a specific thing. And I think that's important that we make those distinctions.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think regarding Victor's point about finding people to either be a business partner or just to you know, work with in general, I think actually Asusu is a good place to start because you start to see what your mutual interests are. And by the way, if anybody's interested in Asusu, I definitely am good for it. So let's do it.
I'm in one now. Yeah, I'll give you information as soon as we get off.
I think Jen had wanted to ask something. We lost her though. She wasn't able to get her question in.
Oh, really?
We have Joseph here. Joseph wants to ask something.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Yeah.
I actually met Victor at a park randomly, so it's cool
Very
that you
random.
invited me to this. But I'm a filmmaker and a photographer. I've dabbled in. I mean, I do fabrication, so I built metal sculptures. I do all kind of stuff. But
Nice.
you know, as a young person, it's kind of difficult to organize in a way that's meaningful, especially when your peers might not really be on the same page as far as commitment and stuff like that, and with regards to resources and everything. So I saw some of the people here were talking about publishing and writing groups, and that's something I've been putting more focus into with regards to more narrative storytelling like prose. And I was wondering actually if you guys knew of any writing groups that were available, you know, or if you guys were parts of any writing groups yourselves, because I've been trying to organize one for a minute, but, you know, like I said, it's hard to get people my age kind of interested in that kind of stuff. So
I'm sorry, Joseph, could you repeat what type of writing you're doing?
mostly short stories and script writing, but I mean, you know, I write anything that comes to mind. So
What area are you located in?
I'm from PG County. I was living in Baltimore up until recently, but I just moved out to LA, so I'm living out here now.
Oh, wow. LA.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Nice, bro.
Wow.
Nice, bro. Cali's
What
like
a
my
difference
second
a couple
home.
months make?
Yeah. Huh?
I said, what a difference a couple months make. Like,
Yeah,
Seriously.
I didn't, you know, I just got a job. Like I said, I do metal fabrication, so I got a job out here, and I was like, you know, why not? I might as well go. Things don't look like they're going to be going back to normal anytime soon, so. Yeah,
You can,
but I miss Baltimore though. I definitely like Maryland, but you know, it is what it is. I'm here for now, so I'm used to most of it.
PG all day, man.
Yeah, you already know what it is. What's up,
Gang, gang, squad.
I don't know of any writing groups in LA off the top of my head. However, I might be able to find out, but I would recommend downloading this app called Wattpad. It's W-A-T-T. I'll put it in the chat.
I've heard of that before.
You can get a lot of exposure for your writing on that, and you can get quite a bit of feedback. It's a good starting place.
WordPress too.
It's also another good starting place. I'll put all this in chat. And in terms of like online things, Meetup has a lot of good writing groups. Like I found a lot of good, or not a lot, but I found a handful of good writing groups in DC and in Virginia off of Meetup. And the last thing that I would say is Goodreads. Definitely, it's a good idea to read other people's stories and to comment a lot on their stories and help other writers. Because if you help people a lot, then when it's your time to be helped, you already have a community behind you, and it's a lot easier to get genuine feedback, first of all, and not just like, you know, weak sauce feedback. And then also you build up a lot of genuine connections. So once you need beta readers, it's very easy to find your beta readers. You don't have to struggle to get people who you know are going to do a good job.
Yeah.
And if you want to like drop a book, then it's a lot easier to push it out to the public and say, hey, yeah, I'm fixing to drop a book. Not everybody already knows you. So I'll put it all in the chat.
Okay. All right.
I will say about the writing communities. My son uses Wattpad, so I can vouch for that one as a good source too. But there's also Amino, which is a similar kind of online platform that you can use. and Medium. You can post your writing to Medium. Medium gets a lot of traffic, and they push out content for people that post regularly. So that's another good source. I think Christina put Medium as well.
Yeah, Medium is good.
Medium is, I use
Especially
Medium. I love Medium.
depending on the genre that you write. There are some topics that don't get a lot of attention, but I think your topics would do okay.
David, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
You're on mute, David.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Not too long ago, I was trying to get some books published for some of the guys of my friends who were incarcerated, who were saying that they were taking their books, and I had spoke with the librarian over at the West End Library, and we had got some books sent to us. So that might be an avenue you might want to explore. Just maybe going to the library and speaking with one of them and seeing if you can get your books put in there.
Okay. All right.
And my public library here, they actually have a writer's circle. So you might want to check to see if your library, where you do have writer's circle as well. That could also be an option. And then, you can always self-publish on Amazon. It is free, but they take, I think they take like a percentage of, I think if it's less than 99 cents, they don't take anything, but I'm not sure. There's like a bracket where they take nothing and then another bracket where they take a lot. So you can look into that, but that's a good way to get your content out there without any upfront costs. So it's something you can think about.
Yeah, to be honest, on a day-to-day basis, I try and just keep the hinges greased doing short story writing and, more creative writing, but I am definitely interested in something with more consistency, whether that's writing articles for, publication or something like that. But so, right now that's kind of more my focus. I'm trying to segue out of like metal fabrication and more into that,
And a lot of online publications are always looking for guest writers. So I would just do a search for that. You can find some opportunities there as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph.
Go
I
ahead,
wanted to ask you if you could speak more on your content as far as like your cinematography and film work.
Yeah, I'll drop my website in
yeah, bro. Shoot the link.
I'll drop my website. You guys can kind of see what recent photo work.
I'm actually do film as well, so
okay.
I want to see some of your content, man.
Okay, yeah, and so I'll just drop the website. You guys can check it out, and I'll drop my email too. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, I'm not exactly sure if you guys have a group or something that you usually stay in contact with each other. That you usually used to stay in contact with each other, but if anyone wants to hit me up, you can always email me, and Oh,
cool.
Hold on.
Yeah, put your email in the chat too.
Hold on.
Yeah, and Instagram. If everybody could put their email and Instagram in the chat, that'd be great.
Email and
Instagram. I'll put my IG, but just know that I don't post. I just follow people. Put up. I know, right?
Clean work.
Right. I seen that Marie had her hand up. Marie, you got something to say? A question?
I do. Sorry. I've just been kind of listening in because I have my children out here and I'm kind of multitasking. But I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much, Victor and Ebony. I'm really appreciative because there's just so much going on right now, and I feel like there is such a need for this type of not only community, but communion of people getting together and, discussing ideas and being able to express their ideas and their goals and things and getting feedback. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. It's really a humble honor, actually, to be joined with y'all. So I had a question. I do organic skincare, and it's called Holy Mother Flower. I have a site and everything. So what I'm doing now is just basic sales, and I have an online store. But eventually, my products are aimed towards families, children, especially mothers, mothers, because based on the wellness, also what Victor was speaking about, there's a very big need for our community to be healthy. And I don't think that we in turn realize that our skin is actually the largest organ in our body. And whatever we put on our skin, we are absorbing at least 60% of that into our system. So my main focus is on the health and wellness of our community, specified towards the health and wellness of mothers and children. But what I wanted to ask about was, eventually I want to get to the point in which I guess I sell a bottle to somebody, and then I can give away a free bottle to a woman in a community home or to a family with small children, kind of the TOMS concept. But I'm just not really sure how to go about that. So I was just wondering if anybody maybe had any ideas for me.
That's a really good question. I have to think on it.
So that's called cause marketing. It's a particular marketing technique. And oftentimes what people will do, if they want to have a you buy from me, I give one to them type of a deal, is that they'll partner with a nonprofit that does that type of work, or they will create a nonprofit as an umbrella to their work. So like with me, like I have my consulting business, but I also have a nonprofit that I started, and a lot of what I do through the business goes back into funding the work of the nonprofit. Now, some people say, for example, like people that, what's the name of that company that does the socks? Bombas. Bombas does, you buy a sock from us, we give a sock to someone in need. So what they do is they don't themselves have a nonprofit. They partner with different nonprofits in different parts of the world that can distribute the socks that they donate in bulk. So it just depends on, like, you know, how you want to do it. If you wanted to do it yourself, then you would have to form, you know, another entity. But, you know, if you want to just start with, you know, find a partner organization, that's a simple way if you can get that out there. And in all of your marketing, make sure you mention that you are a social enterprise. You have a socially focused component to your work, and use that, you know, in your messaging so that everyone knows that that's what you represent, because that's actually a very powerful way to catapult your business. It works for a lot of large corporations who really aren't doing what they say they're doing. And so, you know, when you have someone that's actually passionate and doing it for real, you know, someone that people can actually see, I think that that will speak volumes, and it will help you a lot in terms of your growth.
Yeah, I'm thinking, especially with an international, not international, but a national organization, you know, that could be a lot of turnover, and they could possibly kind of cross market, you know, and hold spaces for them to market your product as well.
David, you had a question?
That's great. That's
Yes,
great feedback, Mercedes.
Am I muted?
No, you're good.
Okay. I used to work at Sibley Plaza rental office, and a lady used to come in there selling Avon, you know, so maybe you could try to use that as an aspect, you know, of getting you like a catalog, or going to an apartment complex and going to the rental office and first starting there and working with some people in there just to get your product exposed to people on how good it is. That's what I'm saying.
That's an idea. That's an idea. Do we have any other questions? Or Marie, did you have any other things to say, or any responses to? I muted you, by the way, Marie. I don't know if you. I'm sure you've seen that.
Just put her link in the she just put her link in the chat box. Looks like her screen is frozen.
Oh,
she
is
is
it?
hearing us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no worries. Are there any other questions? Questions, comments? That was a great response, Mercedes. Way to come off the top rope with that one.
This is what I do.
Come on, baby.
This is what I do.
I see.
Business development, yes.
Well done.
Any other questions that anyone else has? I will say, you know, the purpose of me doing this really is about making connections, and, you know, like Marie said, you know, communing with like-minded people. I feel, you know, particularly at this point in time, that we are so externally focused with everything that's going on, with all the social challenges that we face as a people. It's very easy to become overwhelmed and to forget the power that we have amongst ourselves. And, you know, I'm definitely about selective self-segregation. I think, you know, we do our best work when we do it internally. And I think that, you know, we really do need to look out for one another as a people. And the best way to do that is by having open forms of communication where we can all see, you know, what we're about and how we can support one another. And that's really the purpose of this program. I wanted to give entrepreneurs a platform and an opportunity to be reminded of, you know, not only what they offer to the community, but what the community can reciprocate and create linkages that way. So I'm very thankful for everyone that signed on. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I do hope to see you guys again. I keep saying that I'm going to start sending out regular emails. I have not done that. I know myself, I feel like I'm getting inundated with newsletters, and it just seems like everybody has a newsletter. And so I've been kind of hesitant and pushing back from sending out emails, but I will start sending out emails because I do think that the conversations that we've been having, this is the 5th in this series, have been very rich, and there's just so much untapped potential. And I really want everybody to have an opportunity to create partnerships and to find out how they can better support one another. So you will hear from me, I promise. I won't promise when, but you will definitely hear from me.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody once again, for just coming on and speaking their piece and sharing, and, you know, and just being a part of the space. You know, I really love it, you know, and there's nothing like being a part of a space with like Black intellectuals, you know, just so much just popping off our different experiences is coming together to create some neat solutions within just our conversations. It's wonderful. So yeah, I have a newsletter also. So if you don't mind, everybody, I'm gonna add you to my newsletter. Thank you. And I have a survey as well. So it's very possible I may email everybody my survey. It's only 10 questions, but it's so I can get more of an idea of, you know, how I can better deliver to wellness to people. So I'd appreciate that.
Awesome.
And everybody, wonderful, wonderful people, be blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. You too.
Thank everyone so much for coming. I can't stress enough how much I appreciate you all. And I hope everyone stays safe. Keep yourself safe. COVID is real. I have some friends that have really been suffering, so I'm definitely paying attention. So you guys, yes, thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing from you all again.
Mercedes.
Yes.
Please, oh, can you give me a printout of the script or email of the script?
Of course.
Okay, appreciate it, because I'm on my phone, so it doesn't save on the phone. So.
Yes, definitely. Everyone will get all the contact information from the chat.
Oh, perfecto. I like it. Cool. Thank you for hosting.
You are so welcome. All right, guys. Thank you.
Peace, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Peace. Be safe.
You too.
Yeah.